Alright everybody, anybody that's watching, we are preparing for the finals of QUAKECoff 2020. Please help donate to the COVID-19 victims, and our other coordination event, or our other promotion is for equal rights. Fighting inequality. So if you can help donate to those charities, let's see, we are gonna be preparing. Alright, so I'm gonna have a little music in the background. I'm open to change the music if this isn't to your liking. Alright, so how's everyone doing? What are you guys expecting the outcome to be? This is the last standoff in the tournament before we close the brackets off. Remember, the winner's going to be getting... well, this is altered information, but basically first place is going to be getting a esports contract for Diabolical. It's going to last 1 year. And then our finalists are Kev and Thumper, or Thumpa. Sorry if I butchered your name.
It's the return of the motherfucking... Raise up, bitch.
Alright, so yesterday we had a pretty exciting match. We have top competitors Lord Revan, Rassi, Kev face off for the finale of lower bracket, and then we have pretty close match between Rassi and Kev for the spot to fight against Thumper today. Then today's winner is going to be getting a 1-year contract, assuming it's not Thumper. For Diabolical. And this tournament was brought to you by the COVID-19 relief. Please send in your donations and support. Also, we're doing a promotion for fight inequality. So that's what everybody gathered around this tournament for, to support those two causes. Let's see. Alright, this is going to be exciting, so we're going to be waiting for Thumper to join before we get going. As you can see, we got Kevin warming up his jumps. So for the first game, we're obviously going to be doing Quake World.
Raise the fuck up.
This is the it's probably the game that started esports. It's the granddaddy of esports. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Quake. And then we'll be playing with the Quake World netcode, which introduced client-side prediction. And it just essentially made a net play. You know, the term often used for playing over a network. It's the most optimized for multiplayer, PvP matches and everything, so this is why we won't be playing on NetQuick instead. Let's see. As you can see, this is a pretty fast-paced match, and I won't be able to follow the match properly if I observe from a floating camera. He's already long gone. Alright, so we got a Thump 4 or Thumpa. Let's see, whenever you gentlemen are ready.
And I'ma whip it up the whole clip.
Alright, everybody. We will be pausing the music. The match is about to begin. We are live for the QUAKECoff 2020, the Holy Trinity Finals. This is gonna be it, guys. This is the match that's gonna separate skill from actual skill. You know, this is where we demonstrate esports. This is it right here. The winner gets a 1-year contract for it's okay, so Thumpa's gonna go grab some water, or he'll be right back. Please give us 5 minutes, and the show will be off. And yes, as Thumpa's talking about in the chat, we have COVID-19 and fightinequality.org giveaways. We could take a look at the website to find that info. The website is https quake.support. So people are getting fragged in real life right now, and this is the statement from Thumpa. And then you can read his memorandum. Well, not the memorandum, I'm sorry. He'll be talking about why he decided to host this tournament this year, and why he wants to support COVID-19 victims and fight inequality. And then below here you can see the information if you would like to follow us for more information, or to chat with our contestants before a match, of course. You wouldn't want to do it in between. And then basically this tournament was for free. There was no entry fee at all. So, you know, it surprises me that we didn't get any more entrants than we did for this tournament. It would have been really fun just to have people who entered. You know, I entered for fun. I'm not even like esports rated, and I just entered because you know, I wanted to support the movement here. This is my riot, you know, my way of rioting, just playing in a tournament. And then so basically here's the this is what would have been given away if more people would have entered. The cash prices would have been higher. Everything. You can still donate right now while the donation link is still active. You know, there was a giveaway for cash prizes too. Even if you would have, you know, even if you would have not got the contract, you would have gotten something. You know, for your, just for entering the tournament. Let's see, we'll be jumping back on. Alright, Thumpa's back and we're ready. I suppose we're gonna count it down. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final match before, you know, we close this tournament off. It's the finals. If you haven't been following the tournament, there will be replays on Thumpa's stream.
Yo, yo.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Hopping on right now.
Alright, we're live. Welcome to the finale of QUAKECoff 2020.
Alright, let's see what's going on.
What were your thoughts on yesterday's matches, including the ones you participated in?
I mean, it was cool, you know. Had a lot of fun there with the matches. I think personally the maps for Quake World are a little outdated, but that's just my personal opinion. It was really hard for me to keep the control on those maps. It's a lot of fun though. Have they started yet, or?
No, we're still watching them. Thumpa just got back from his 5-minute break. We're ready to kick off though.
Alright, cool. I got it pulled up here. Yeah, I'll probably be in and out of this. I'm kind of doing things here, but trying to show up, help you out. Let's see, it's Kev versus Thump, right?
Yeah, Kev versus Thump.
Alright. Looks like they're about to get started. DM6. Ouch.
Yeah, this map, there's like too many ways to like control this map. Like,
It's really unpredictable. You just gotta play with the teleporters and hold red, really.
yeah, because like there's like little spawn points I wasn't even aware of, and I was getting shot at like from behind them when I was in my match with Rassi, dude.
Yeah.
And then like another thing, I don't even know the I didn't memorize the health locations or anything. I was like fighting for my life basically, just with this
Yeah,
shot.
a lot of the times that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, you gotta memorize all of that. Then the timers for the weapon spawns, you know, you want to be ready. Alright, so we haven't started yet. We still have the clock at 0. Let's play a little music before they start.
So Quake World first, and then what are they doing next? I didn't catch the their voting.
They're gonna do Quake World, DM6, followed by Quake Live Campgrounds.
Ah, okay. Hopefully we'll get to see a Quake 2 match here for the finals.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's your main game, right?
Quake World is technically, I like to say that's my main game, but Quake 2 I also spend a lot of time playing, mainly just for fun, but when I get a chance to compete with it, I usually hop on that and see what I can do. It's definitely a really painful game to duel in. It's really stressful, and the gun lag doesn't help. The rail is really, really powerful too. It's really scary.
Yeah, I don't have too much.
So I think rail does 100 in Quake 2.
Cause like when I was playing, what I noticed is there's like a lot of an attempt to make it feel like dynamic, because everything is 3D rendered, right?
Yeah.
So like there's like a lot of attempt to make it feel like, oh hey, look, this rocket's not just like some floating texture, it's an actual 3D model.
Right.
Yeah, so the pacing's like really different compared to Quake and Quake 3, where it's already like fine-tuned and everything.
Yeah, it's true. Looks like they're about to get started here.
Okay, here we go. Let's pause the music.
Alright. Following Thump.
Alright, I'll follow Kev. How do you change user?
Space, I think.
There we go. Okay, I'll be following Kev on my stream. Alright, so it looks like they're starting with some rockets. Kevin was
Kev's
already
just...
predicting that.
Yeah. Well, Thump had a strong start at red and took a rocket as well. See, Kev's kind of just chilling in the nail room,
Yeah, he's
trying to look for a... Yeah. He's decently stacked. He's got green. He's still pretty vulnerable in comparison.
I notice Kev doesn't jump around a lot making noise. He tries to go for the stealth approach.
Yeah, he's being really, really defensive right now. Just kind of trying to hold his ground, looking for an advantage on Thump there. He's going to grab Mega.
Yeah, he's waiting for... Oh, there it is. There we go. Alright, the pit fight started and Kevin lost it.
Yep. I'll probably hop in game so I can see this without a delay.
Yeah.
Try and spectate their match.
This is a duel, right? That means you'll get sent to spectator automatically, right?
Right. Are they on
They're-
Texas Quake Community?
No, Dallas. I don't know what the name of the server is called. I just got the IP.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The IP's in the QUAKECoff Discord.
Okay, I got it. Connecting now.
Alright, so we got Kev avoiding... well, he got him anyway.
Alright, looks like Thump's pushing him pretty hard there.
Yeah, he's
Managed to
forcing
steal
him.
that frag.
That's it, man. I don't want to say he doesn't have a chance, but like... Thump is in control right now. He has the leashes.
Yes, he does. It's going to be very hard to come back from that 8-0 frag count. Thump's at a moderate stack right now, but he's doing all he can to hold down red. Very fast movement. He knows this map very well. Kev's kind of cowering in the nail room there. Ooh.
Man.
He's lots of defensive grenades he's popping all over the place just in case, you know. Every opening he's just shooting them. Oh, looks like Kev got red. Turn things around a little.
Hopefully, because like right now, Kev is playing too safe, but it's hurting him a lot.
Yeah, his defensive positions are actually giving him a disadvantage here, especially with his -1 score. Needs to try and push a little harder to get the frag on him, or at least get his stack down on Thump's side.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. This is too slow.
Man, he is just pushing him around. Thump is actually very low at 60 armor and 45 health. Nice. Gives them both a clean bill of health and a fresh start. Thump takes red. He's gonna keep Kev in that room there. Thump is at 0 armor and 120 health.
Yeah, right now we got Kev pretty naked right now. He only has a rocket and a shotgun.
Yeah, Thump is just combing through this, combing through these rooms here, taking everything he can.
There
Ooh.
we go. Oh, yeah.
Good frag for Kev. Oh, and the Thump actually kills himself right there. The accidental rocket aim hit the ledge.
That's actually something that happens pretty often in this game. Like,
Yes, it does. The
it
splash
doesn't
for the
go-
rocket is just super powerful. In comparison to Quake Live especially. The rocket has like barely any splash damage in live.
Yeah, it definitely helps for like rocket jumps and stuff, but like you gotta be careful because that still takes off a chunk of their health.
Yeah, there's a lot of self damage in this. Especially falling damage does the most, I think, out of the three. Thump is pretty stacked at 196 red armor, 99 health. He's gonna try and get the jump on Kev. Sounds like Kev just picked up red though.
Yeah, he's at full right now. 200, 100 health. He's pretty stacked for ammo. He's going for the thunder.
Thump's about to push on him. He's got a lot of health and armor, but he's low on rockets. He's actually being a little bit more defensive now after that.
Yeah, Kevin is trying to protect where he's next going to take a teleporter too, so he's waiting around a lot.
That was a good little fight there. Pushed them both away from each other.
Yeah, the thunder is definitely like the best repellent in this game. Like if you're trying to walk away from a fight.
Extremely high damage and a really big push rate too on that. If a player's in the air and you hit him with the lightning, they're gonna stay up there. Okay,
like
Thump is completely stacked, taking a rocket to the face. Still got a pretty beefy stack on him.
So Kevin is taking these weird holes.
Ooh, denied red from Kev. Ouch.
Alright, Mega Room. Teleporter. That's it. Either way, Thump is like just on him.
Taking those spawn kills. Controlling the pickups for sure. He's definitely listening for Kev as well. He's playing out the sound there a lot.
Yeah, I think this is Kev's game here. Just waiting the sound out, or just trying to predict the next teleporter. That seems to be as a strategy here, but it's...
Yeah,
I don't know.
looks like Thump is messing with them by activating the lightning door a couple different times before going in.
Yeah, they're
trying to confuse them. That's actually a tactic I use on DM2 with the lift there in the middle of the map. Try and confuse the player with the sounds, making them think they're coming from a different angle. It's a good strategy.
Oh yeah, I definitely saw you doing it in the match from yesterday against...
Ooh, nice telefrag. He totally did that intentionally too.
Wow.
He saw Kev go in there and immediately jumped in.
Kev got
So we're at a beefy 20 frags to 1 here. Thump towering over Kev's frag count. Very curious to see how Quake Live is going to go, to be honest. I think Thump has this one in the bag with only about 2 minutes left of the match.
Yep, Kev is still trying to play too defensively. It's almost the end of it.
I'll be right back.
Alright, sure then. Alright, so as we notice here, you know, we got Kev's playstyle almost down. Alright, so now he's starting to do bunny hopping to get his acceleration up, you know, try to get there faster, but I don't know, like personally, in my opinion, I wish I would have done it sooner because he took a lot of deaths. He took too many frags early on. And like Lord Revan said, it's almost the end of the match, yeah. Let's see. Although Kevin is not moving like too fast, you know, too often, he does have good map knowledge. He knows where to expect Thump to spawn from if he teleports. But this strategy doesn't seem to be working against Thump at all. And that's it. Alright, well played, guys. We'll see you guys for the next match. Alright, so that was the first match of the finals between Kev and Thumpa. Or we'll call him Thump. And then let's say hello to our chat. So we got a message from Messiah. He runs he schedules matches for Quake World. He posted his Discord on my Twitch chat, so if you would like to check it out, I'll go ahead. I'll read it out loud. So it's discord.usquake.world. There's no .com or anything. Alright, so we got a good comment here. Alright, so if the sponsor wins, who sponsors the sponsor? Thump talked about that on day one. He was really hoping one of the competitors joins. Or one of the participants would beat him. So I don't know what the deal is gonna be. And then we got Acronis saying my mic is too low. Let's open the mixer. Nope. Alright, so my mic volume is high. It just means my voice is too low even if I talk loud. I'm sorry about that. So again, this tournament's been brought to you by the COVID-19 victim relief, and then we're also doing giveaways for the participants. We're also promoting fight inequality, especially with these riots going on. The source of it is because there's racism. That's all you can put it down as. There's no excuse for it. You guys know the story. It shouldn't have happened that way. But either way, we're all here to have fun. All participants did it for the to help promote the relief for the victims of COVID-19. You can head on over to quake.support, and you can read the statement by Thump on why he decided to host this tournament. That's pretty much the only reason everybody joined, for fun. There was prospectives of getting the esports 1-year contract for Diabolical. There were some hopefuls yesterday, but they didn't make it, and still they managed to have fun. That was the important part.
So what did I miss? Obviously the end of the match.
Well, you missed just seeing how it ended.
What was the final score there?
I did not screenshot it. It looked somewhere around 20, 23. Between there.
For sure. So Thump obviously won.
Yeah, of course. No doubt about it. Alright, so...
Yeah, sorry, I kind of got stuff going on in the house here, so like I said, I'm going to be in and out of the chat. That was an intense match, though.
It was, for, the end of it, Kev picked up his pacing, but, it was too little too late. It didn't really help him anywhere. So we're going to be joining the next server in Quake Live. We got the information ready, so... you got a message in the Thump chat. We got a Cronus confirming if you got in and out stuff. If you're going to be in and out because of family stuff.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, they're talking about.
Yeah, same here, kind of.
No, you. They're asking for
Oh.
you.
Who? Where?
In Thump's chat, Cronus1, he's asking if you're gonna be in and out due to family stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so that way people know like why you're leaving and like not just because you lost interest or anything.
Yeah, no, sorry. I live with my family, and they're pestering me today because they know I'm not playing. So I did tell them I was wanting to watch the finals, but you know how they get.
Let's see. I'm trying to find these servers. There's a Zorax coffee shop.
Oh, he said Texas server. Never mind.
Oh, is there a server called Texas? I'm not familiar with Quake Live servers. Because we're already like, oh well, let me sort it by ping. That's what the problem was. Let's see.
I'm getting complaints that my mic is too high and I'm overpowering yours. Maybe you.
Let me see. I'm gonna check my settings. Alright, this is another test. Chat, let me know if it's any louder, or too loud, or just right.
Ooh, you probably are pretty quiet. I have you turned up to 200% on my end, and I can hear you fine. I don't know how it sounds on the stream.
Yeah, the stream might be different because there's different settings. I'm trying to adjust them right now.
I actually just turned the volume up to hear it. Yeah, I'm a lot louder than you are for some reason.
Here, oh, you know what? Also because I have you like at 200% because the game's loud.
There you go. That's, yeah. You should probably turn me down a bit, I guess.
Yeah, because, dude, Quake 4 is loud as hell.
Yeah, it is. Should be good now.
Let's see. Chat, what do you think? Is my voice good now, or louder, lower? Are we Goldilocks?
Sounds pretty good on my end. I just turned the volume up there, but I don't know.
I don't know. Let's see what these people say. So, let me see. I hope they could hear me. Oh, there we go. They're saying much better. Okay, so we're gonna have some music. Alright, maybe the music's gonna overpower me now. Silent Gamers 1, okay. Gosh. Let's see. Number 3. Can I search for it?
Not sure. If they're in the match, just filter it by players and check out. Oh, there you go. Maybe not. Kev says they're using the Denver server now.
Alright, so we're gonna be switching between It's gonna be the same name, just different city, right?
Not sure. I actually don't have access to the chat that you can see. I'm just looking at the QUAKECoff chat.
Denver. Alright, there's Duels Denver number 2.
That might be it.
Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're gonna be joining in. And yeah, Rassi has a point. I don't know if how many people were here when I mentioned it. The giveaway amount was changed because not enough donations and not enough players. Spectate. Here we go. So I'll be spectating Kev unless you want to join in too.
Yeah, let me do that. Ooh, you know what? I don't think I can actually. I'm just gonna watch your stream and do what I can at the moment. I have to go in a couple minutes again.
Alright, I'm just gonna max out my voice in the stream because
Good idea.
The game's loud.
And my apologies not being able to be here for the whole thing.
And it's okay because, you know, you're not... what do you call it?
Obligated.
Yeah, obligated, that's a word. I can't English now.
No worries. It happens.
And yeah, like, you know, Rassi mentioned in the chat, you know, we did, unfortunately, you know, we didn't have enough players. You know, Trump also talked about it yesterday. Not a lot of people wanted to set up servers, configuration files for all 3 games.
Yeah.
And all that like stuff. Like it's unfortunate because I played with pretty much stock settings. I didn't need any of the special, you know, flat texture options or anything. I'm going to have fun, and I just wanted to be part of this, you know, this movement for COVID-19 relief victims and fighting inequality.
Right, right.
You know,
Yeah, I actually didn't have a very complex config for Quake 2 either. I just had basically vanilla looking textures and stuff. I guess that looks like they're ready to go.
Yep, so I'll be pausing the music here, and let's hit this off. Alright, good luck, have fun.
Prepare
gentlemen.
to fight.
This is potentially the last match.
3, 2,
Yep, let's see
1.
how it goes.
Fight.
Kev off to a decent start. Getting mega.
Yeah, I really hope he has an ace in the sleeve for Quake Live.
Yeah. Oh, Kev performed pretty well in Quake Live. We've seen here. Wow, it looks like Thump actually took him out by rushing him with plasma there. He must have gotten red. Yep, he just got red. I can see that. Okay, so we can keep an eye on both players for one. Thump's off to a strong start here. He's got a very low stack. Yeah, took him out.
They seem to be on equal footing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thump's not knocking him out very good.
That one frag could mean a lot though, and he's upping it by 2 now. See, Kev's just trying to go for what's safe at this point. Testing over red, it seems. So Kev actually stacked himself up pretty high.
It looks like that was, Kev already had that red in mind. He was waiting for it.
Mm-hmm.
Kev still needs to catch up on his kills.
Yeah, Thump just keeps getting on top of him one frag at a time.
I mean, Kev could have good map knowledge, but he's not demonstrating like that he could use it to his advantage right now.
Yeah, I remember him dropping this map actually a couple times, so that maybe could mean that this is one of his weaker points. He could be, you know, one of the players just more familiar with the newer versions of this map or ZTN maps or, you know, stuff that people more commonly duel on nowadays. This is like straight up vanilla Quake 3 campgrounds.
The only difference is that there's no teleporting pickup from the pillars.
Kev's got a pretty good stack. See if he could take Thump out. He's only 2 frags ahead of him now.
Ooh, let's see. So
2 rails.
Tight situation.
oh, this is it. This is it.
Ooh,
He has
good
a
rail.
Yeah.
Kev got red, but his health is oh, he's got 100 health. Just looks lower on the meters on top. Still a decent stack. He could have pushed harder right there.
Yeah, he went right back to his like defensive player now. He was doing pretty good momentum earlier.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Another nice rail shot.
Combo kill.
Oh, nice.
Oh man, that close rail. You know, it's not easy to hit a rail that close to somebody.
Especially when it's like just slightly peeking the model right there. Damn.
Yeah, typically that wouldn't be the
beautiful.
best idea to have the rail out that close. I would go for shotgun or a rocket, but Kev's pretty confident with his rails.
Yeah, you could tell like this is a strong game right here, even though like you know,
man.
because he just needs a few kills to like catch up. That's it. Come on, dude, you could do it.
Yeah, they're only 2 frags apart. Wow. Strong light right there. Goes back down for Mega. Looks like he's gonna try and get yellow right here. Nice.
I don't know, like the momentum is going back down again. It's like it fluctuates.
Yeah, definitely. He's just gonna try and hug red, and he got it. Sometimes it's not the best idea to try and sit there, but in this case, he is just a couple seconds off of that timing red. And now he's really stacked. He needs to push as hard as he can.
Yeah, he could chase him now.
I would definitely have went down there, yeah. He's gonna try and go back to the red area. Oh wow, okay, he timed that good. He's gonna delay the red, okay. He's trying to switch up his tactics a little bit.
Like Kevin, like he's been demonstrating he has good map knowledge so far again. Like, but you know, like he hasn't landed like too many kills. Or maybe he tries to like I was saying earlier, trying to predict where Trump's gonna go.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of defensive rockets and stuff. He's really keeping hold on those items, though. He just keeps going back and forth from Mega to Red.
I mean, it looks like he's catching up. There's one more.
Yep. Oh, that was close. He's super low.
Lead
There we
tied.
go. They're tied. All right, guys.
Oh, wow.
This might be hype.
There we go. That was an interesting push. He definitely didn't have the odds stacked into him, but aside from having the high ground, he had a very low stack.
I think this is the boost he needed.
Definitely.
He's starting to move up his momentum now.
He's moving moving around more, being a little more adventurous. Ooh. Thump pushes him down. He's gonna try and use that archway to his advantage. Watches over red. Interesting pulling out the rail.
That was too close for something.
Probably expected him to be further away. You know, in the Quake Champions version of this map, it's best to have rail out here in the red area because of how much distance there is in that. But in this version, it's very, very close together with the bridge being over red. It's almost better to have lightning out or even rockets if you can do good rocket prediction above. That was a good shot.
Because the Quake 3 one's like more chunkier and it's wider, so...
Yeah. Let's see if those little armor shards give him the boost he needs. It's pretty low though.
Well, we got Kevin at 5 health. That's it.
Yeah, Kevin is pretty much dead at this point. Hope he managed to evade that situation. Going up to Rocket. Ooh.
And he was avoiding him so good. He just needed some health.
Yeah.
That's that kills a kill.
If he would have went to Shoddy instead of Rocket up to red, he probably would have survived. Might have been able to take the red away from Thump there.
1 minute warning.
Taking Mega.
He might have beat him for red already.
Missed that jump there. He's getting a little anxious.
Dang.
Very aggressive. Thump didn't let him have that frag though.
Revenge.
Nice. There you go, Kev.
Good plasma kill. You know, with precise aiming, that plasma gun really melts people down.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Like, you could use it like a weapon, just like, you know, outmaneuver people trying to juke you.
It's not bad for mid-range fights either, or close range.
That
You
was
can
super close.
nice.
8
Yeah,
to
that
9.
was very close. 8 to 9. Good game.
Yeah, good
Very
game,
well
guys.
played there.
Oh, it looks like he was having mechanic issues.
The gun kept switching mid-fight. That's interesting.
All right, guys.
8 to 9. Thump takes the lead, and is that the final match? Was that it?
I believe it is because they only mentioned Quake World and Live. I don't think they had they were gonna.
Right.
do
It
all
wouldn't
3.
go to the third one unless Kev won that one. So it looks like we got
They have a
Thump here
champion.
is the champion, beating Kev 2-0. Quake World and Quake Live.
That's
Definitely
it, guys.
good fights. Good fights and good games by both players. Very well played. You can tell they know what they're doing on those maps there for sure.
I was actually rooting for Kev to actually come back from that one. You could have.
I was surprised with the Quake Live performance there. I actually expected Kev to take the lead, but it was very close. Very close.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
it
what-
wasn't like
that's what
Thump just
left us.
steamrolled him. Their scores were back to back.
And then Kevin was really working the map knowledge really hard, you know. But we need to see more offensive play from him in the future. But it was a pretty good match. It was close.
Most definitely. Good games and well played, everybody. I actually got to head out. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no
Cannibal
problem.
or Minotaur, whatever you want to go by. Thanks
Either
for
is fine.
watching, everybody. And I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, later. All right. All right, so this concludes the tournament, but, you know, we're not done here. We still got to congratulate our winner. And, you know, again, this tournament is brought to you by the COVID-19 victim relief donation and the fighting inequality. You know, that's all this, you know, we're trying to bring awareness, even though, like, you know, you should be aware of it, man. Like, So, like was mentioned earlier, the giveaway was altered due to not enough players. Um, but everybody took something out of this tournament regardless. If you had fun, there you go. That's what you got. You know. Otherwise, there were people like gunning for the 1-year contract for Diabolical Esports. Those guys were definitely demonstrating their skills day one, day two. And then we had our finalists today. And then we're gonna. I'm hoping they hop on chat so we could interview them. I'd also like to interview the our other finalist, Rassi, if possible, to get some comments out of him. Let's see.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, so the stream's up. We'll be able to hear you on the stream as well.
Howdy.
All right, so that was a pretty tough match between you and Kev. You know, you were really in control of both matches as well.
Yeah, that map is a classic. It's an absolute classic. You know, there's been at least 5 QuakeCons that featured that map as the premier map, and just to be able to play Kev on it was pretty cool. He started to come back. I didn't think that I was trying like completely hard, but
yeah, you weren't. I felt you weren't trying like in the second half. But there was this clutch fight at Mega, in which I kept switching to rail from it was like rocket rail, and I was trying to shoot you with rockets, but it kept shooting my railgun. I was like, what the is going on?
yeah.
And then I lost control completely, and then I felt like you weren't trying after that.
Yeah, but so just switching from game to game is definitely, you know, I think Kev was actually having some weapon switch problems. I saw him in a fight accidentally switch weapons, and it just kind of shows you how important it is to have configs set up in multiple games. Back in the day, we've had to do that, and I remember when, you know, Doom 3 Painkiller CPL World Tour was going on, and you didn't know which game was going to take the direction of esports. You had no clue, so you had to be able to rapidly switch back and forth and not have one sensitivity in a game or a config like screw you up in the next game. And that's what this tournament kind of replicated. Great Diabolical prep tournament. You know, Ratsy coming out of nowhere, Lord Revan. Ratsy was unbelievable in this tournament, and he's going to be the player that I think we're going to try to help out here. Although his skill set is improving, I think Ratsy is the type of player that can actually step it up in Diabolical.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping we could have Rassi up here for interview. You know, through Discord. Let me see if I can get in touch with him and see what he says. Cause I was like really rooting for like either like Revan or Rassi to get up there. You know, Kev definitely took the lead last match for lower bracket. And, you know, congratulations like to both of you. Like this is a pretty awesome tournament. You know, I've never been in a Quake tournament like online, so this is pretty first for me. And you know, thanks for having me.
Thank you for streaming, and I know a lot of people talk about Quake. It's an old school series, you know, John Carmack basically inventing certain things that led esports to get to where it is today. And it's there's nothing as good as Quake 1, 2, and 3 combined in the one event.
Yeah, for sure. Because if it wasn't for Carmack, where would esports be today? Like, what games would we be playing?
Right. What would we be playing? League of Legends?
I don't even think League of Legends. Like, that's probably a whole other story. Like, there's like a many great games that like came out thanks to the Quake engine. There's Half-Life, all that stuff. We could talk about it all day. There's like so much to talk about.
Yeah, not to mention Minecraft.
Oh man, like yeah, that inspired Notch for Minecraft. Like, is Minecraft an esports who could build the biggest castle fastest? Or would that be for speedruns?
I'm sure they have some competitions like that.
Oh, okay, so Rassie's waiting for us in lower channel. If an admin could drag him to this channel, please.
He should be here now.
Yeah, looks like you guys are muted.
Yeah, something happened with my sound. It decided to mute my whole computer. I must have hit a hotkey.
Oh, okay. Alright, so, Rassie, tell us what your thoughts were during the whole tournament. What were you gunning for? Besides the one-year esports contract, of course. Were there any goals you set for yourself? And did you meet any of those goals?
I'd say I decided to take dueling a lot more seriously, and that a little bit ago, and I tried to perform in this tournament with a more competitive attitude. I haven't really taken duel seriously in the past, so it's rather new for me. In terms of like success in the tournament, where I thought I did pretty well. I thought I was hopping between games reasonably well. I definitely struggled on like the Quake 1 maps themselves, but I feel like I was able to bop between both all the movement, all the weapon pretty well. I had a solid config down. I figured, as Thump was saying about, you needed to have games not screw you up config wise. That's something I experienced here. I had to kind of leverage each game, and sometimes I'd make changes and have to go back and rethink something for another game because it would just mess it up. It would just mess it up right away. So I had to make these universal rules across all the games, and I eventually made sure, like, okay, I gotta have center weapon. I gotta have. I'm just gonna remove view models, just to make it easy, just make it consistent, and just make it get used to the weapon speed and the pullouts and stuff, and not rely on animations that might lag or something. Just getting this down and make sure all my textures were flat and I could see things. that was super, and I think I did that well. I'm happy with that.
You did, and you were definitely. I mean, I remember watching you. I remember QuakeCon 2019. There was the BYOC pick up and go computers, and I just remember walking by and seeing somebody playing, and they were moving around Quake World really fast, and like I thought it was like, an amazing like pro or something that just sat down, but then I realized it's Ratsy playing in the Quake World tournament. Did you play in the Quake 2 tournament as well?
Yes, and I wasn't super familiar with Quake 2 at the time. I had just played like a bunch of like and stuff, and I instantly set myself up for failure by not understanding it didn't have weapon stay, or rather, even reasonable weapon respawns. The really long weapon respawns immediately screwed me, and I like lost control. Actually on Q2 DM3 as well, and I got really mad. I was like, no, I could beat this guy. I have a way better DM, but I just lost. it was it was
Yeah, that was fun, and I think it was that, last year's QuakeCon that inspired me. And not to mention, the lockdown that is obviously preventing a lot of us from competing at QuakeCon this year. But that multi-game, trying to win in multiple games, one of the favorite tournaments I've ever played in was QuakeCon 2006 or 7, where it was called the Quad Damage Tournament, and you had 4 games. And they actually had special software that, would launch a particular game, and then you had, stock settings. So Quake 4, I don't know about that. I mean, I haven't seen somebody queue up in Quake 4. I know, Cannibal, on your Twitch, you were messing around with it. I was surprised to see that.
Oh yeah, you know what? Funnily enough, yesterday was my second night playing Quake 4 online. Thanks to Lord Rev, and he was just hyping it up so much I had to play it. I didn't want to be left out, so I'm like, you know what? He's getting back into Quake 4, so I'm just gonna get on the hype train before it's over.
yeah. Actually,
was my mic muted?
no, I don't think so.
No.
Were you trying to say that before?
No, because I just hit my mute button and I'm not sure if I got that out.
So what were your thoughts on your game, Rassi versus Kev?
The original game or the final game?
Both, in order.
Oh, okay. So, I was really happy with Quake 2 against Kev. Like, actually, in general, but it was good. I especially since that was the map that I just got like lapped in at QuakeCon, being able to like come back and like have a game plan on it and know what to do, being able to do like the the armor to like doorway jump. I'm not even sure what to call it, and then gondola tricks, which I messed up a couple times, and it almost cost me some points there. But being able to just get around the map quickly, effectively, I appreciate that. I pull off a nice rocket jump kill on him too, and when I caught his spawn, yes, Quake 2 rocket jumps are a little weird, so I was happy with that. Then I got into that Quake live game on Airwalk against. I was like, okay, I got good momentum or whatever, and then I just started getting slapped, which is like hold back and rail, and I was just like, I don't know. I was feeling rockets, I was feeling LG, and my rail not really spicy right then, and I just couldn't play that rail game with him, and I paid the price of not being able to play back, and just got walked over on Airwalk. That's why you call it that.
Kev, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just don't want to pick up too much ambient noise in my background.
What did you think?
Honestly, I had a really, really tough time in Quake World. Like, I wasn't confident with the movement whatsoever, and it was really throwing off my gameplay, and it led to very, pussy-like tactics. And it paid off in the end, out of sheer luck. And I think that's just my lack of preparation, time dedicated to other things.
So you're saying that because you weren't able to put in the time in the Quake world, you were forced to play a defensive play style that you're saying luckily countered Ratsy?
Pretty much. I don't think I would have been able to do the same thing in DM6 or DM4. They're just too fast-paced maps, too close combat, and I just wasn't ready in Quake World whatsoever.
Yeah, and a lot of things went your way in that game, the DM2 game.
Oh yeah,
You know,
especially the 200-200 him falling into lava. That was like a miracle for me.
yeah,
And
and
I
then
got lucky that I capitalized on that, and I was at the right time, right position to capitalize on that.
I thought it was like it was a good repeat of day one in the winter bracket because you disconnected early on DM2.
Yeah, I was again. I was. I think I quit out of mostly frustration, and to be honest, but other factors were that it was very hot in my office, and it just it was like a boiling. You know that rage you get when you're just boiling and you're hot at the same time.
No.
Well, it led me to quit the game very early, and I just felt like I had absolutely no chance against him.
At least you get up from the game. I just sit there and boil for like an hour. And dude, I yelled at everyone. What happened? Intense games.
Yeah, I used to. I remember breaking a few mouses back in the day. Like, I would just. You remember Kev? I think I was living with Ryan, and I would just like scream and break a mouse, and my brothers would walk in and be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?"
Yeah, no need in breaking your equipment.
Either that or like just. I think I put a hole in a wall or two. But that's the problem. Like when to get mad like that after a loss, I remember for a few years I was dealing with that, and I think it's just because I wasn't necessarily mad at my performance, because a lot of times I did everything I could do to win, but I was more or less mad that maybe I didn't have the best computer, or maybe my equipment limited me, and I just couldn't overcome all those hardware, and maybe the internet wasn't good, and that's always something that plagued me as well. So to really be prepared for esports, if somebody's trying to go pro, or anybody listening to this, you have to have all your eggs, all your ducks in a row. You have to have the computer, you have to have the hardware, you have to invest in it, you have to have the internet connection, maybe even internet connection redundancy with like a router that can switch between two internet connections just in case you disconnect, that kind of stuff. And then if you have all your hardware set, and then you're grinding and you're trying to become a professional and you're putting in that time to become a pro, if you have the hardware and you made the honest effort, then you can relax and say to yourself, I tried my best and that was my performance, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you know that you did everything that you could do, you can't get mad at that. So I stopped getting mad.
That's actually a really good point, because not a lot of people are willing to invest in the the necessary investments. But the thing, like with Quake World and stuff, Quake Live and Quake 2, they're not hardware heavy games these days. But,
I wouldn't say that. I mean, think it. Hold on 1 second here. I mean, think about this. I have a 240 hertz monitor. I've made sure I have the 3360 sensor in my mouse, whatever the latest Avogo sensor. I have a mouse pad that's perfectly clean. I have a keyboard that works for me. I have a little camera lens blower just to make sure dog hair doesn't get in the freaking mouse sensor and ruin my day. Which literally happens, and I see it every day. Put out, and it. you do have to invest in that. You have to invest the time in your hardware as well, and
Um,
all that's an expensive something.
Because I feel that stuff you mentioned, it's more along the lines of like having optimal equipment, more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, you can get away with like not having the beefiest rig, but you still have to have everything else. I
Yeah,
mean,
pretty much.
and that's going to change because Diabolical doesn't unfortunately run quite as well, at least yet.
Quake Champions,
But
you really need a machine for that game.
oh my god, I built a machine just for Quake Champions. What a freaking expense! You have to have money to play that game, and I don't even think I put enough money into it honestly to get solid performance.
Right, and that's a good point about the money. And I mean, just seeing the stuff, people having issues with inequality. The wealth gap is something that, we're just now seeing South Americans a lot, like in heavy numbers, get into Quake World actually, and be unbelievable at Quake World. And Defrag is another example of the free Quake 3 mod. And that's because they don't have these high and mighty machines. They would never be able to afford it. And that's, why not have games that the whole world can play in more of an esport fashion than, creating this gatekeeping by wealth type of situation that we have with Quake Champions.
I super agree. I honestly I think everyone was so depressed about the situation, but I was really surprised that a talented modder or coder didn't just literally take Quake Champions and put it in Quake 3 and have it run extremely well. Just everything about it, like the different movement sets and everything. Have it. So here's a game that runs well. Clearly, you guys can do a little better.
Right. That would have been, that's an amazing move. I think they tried that in Doom 2.
Yeah, that was. I feel like that's more for humor, though. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it was
like
funny.
that was a good idea. So I mean, yeah, we all have our complaints about Quake Champions, about just kind of, where AFPS esports goes from here, and that's kind of where Diabolical comes in, and a lot of people have been talking about that. What do you guys think about Diabolical?
Honestly, I cannot stand what they're doing right now with the closed beta situation and letting key players play at free will while the rest of the community has to sit back and wait.
Oh, you can't even play now in the closed beta, so that's
yes, you can if you're FaZe or if you're Napalm 3D or Death. There's key players that have access still as mappers in quotes.
Def is a great player, man. He's stayed at the top forever.
Right.
Cool
and
dude.
To give him access, full access, even right now, where everybody else doesn't have access, he will have a clear edge.
It's honestly kind of fucking BS, man. Like, I don't mean to curse, but it gets me angry. Like, this is a repeating pattern in modern esports. I'd say ever since StarCraft 2, stuff like that, where they gave these people the advantage. I mean, unless they do something crazy like change the physics set, everyone who's been playing in that closed beta just has huge advantage over everyone.
A perfect example of this is Jonathan Fatality Wendell when he won $25,000 playing Doom 3. He was actually given Doom 3 before the rest of the community.
I mean, I used to idolize the gentleman, but there have been a couple of fishy things with him. Unfortunately, there was also a painkiller tournament that wasn't the most honest, I believe, against. I mean, I don't know where it was. It was in a weird place. It was like in Korea. It was like out of all things, like a kind of weird exhibition tournament. But yeah,
yeah, I think. Are you referring to the time when he hid on a map in an area on the map that nobody knew you can hide on. That was one of the things that happened that I remember that drew some complaints. But other than that, John was pretty clean all across the board.
Yeah, he actually became a workhorse in Painkiller and earned his title. I respect his victory in the end.
Oh, this was post the game. This was like years and years later, like an exhibition match, and like the whole controversy was it was a pretty close match, but apparently one had land ping and one was playing like 30 ping, and if anyone knows anything about Painkiller, the netcode's atrocious. And then even that was just enough to edge him out. But you know, whatever. I don't mean to BS or bring any of the conspiracies in, but. Regardless, yeah, people getting the edge on the game just like really sucks, and it makes you just like, as a person maybe trying to be an up and coming player, it's a giant brick and wall in front of you.
I got to see some of that firsthand actually. I play a little bit of Valorant. So like, if you guys know about the situation with that game when it was in beta. You know, the only way you get a key is by watching somebody stream. And so, you know, I got lucky to get one, like when it was still closed beta. And, you know, I got to like get a sneak peek at the map and everything. And then I got to see as players also got access, you know, they'd look like, you know, blind bats flying everywhere. Okay, so then post release, right now there's like a bunch of people that are playing like they've never played before, and it's obvious. You know, giving other people the edge just for the sake of is it an advertisement, or I don't know what the
right. You think about the NFL. I mean, let's try to compare it to bona fide sports leagues that have been around for over 50 years. The NFL has rules where teams literally cannot practice together until like April, and you can get in huge trouble and disqualified from playing if you violate these rules. And there is nothing like this across esports in any capacity. There's also no drug testing. There's and if there is, it's limited with no oversight. I think there are some major questions, you know, where people need to protest these things in esports in order to make the necessary changes going forward. And there has to be a league, not the game, not the actual, like, let's consider Diabolical, for example. The league for Diabolical is the tournament, is the game creator. The league for Bethesda is the game. It's the game creator. You have to have an independent league. You know, Gridiron Football. The inventor of Gridiron Football is not, you know, running Gridiron Football tournaments. It's the National Football League. There's also other football leagues too that are less popular. So
sorry if I'm running here, but basically what you're saying is we need CPL back,
something like
with
that.
People that are running it that are not jerks.
Yeah, absolutely. A CPL, I think, it was cool because they're not limited to one game. The league can continue. They can run Arena FPS without depending on a sole title. So Bethesda, if they want to have, it's kind of landlocked to the company that owns the game, and then crap, if their league dies, if their game dies and nobody wants to play it anymore, the entire league is done. That's not what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah, Quake Pro League was a flat out joke how they just picked players to be the pros, and nobody had anything to say about it except the pros. They were happy. They were given access to Quake Pro League, and then they had a qualifier after.
Yeah,
it's just a real shame.
I mean, like Rafa, it's getting handed. I feel like a couple of those players are going to almost be handed Diabolical if we're not careful here. Like, it's Yeah, it's really frustrating.
Oh yeah, and even Cooler said in an interview he was given diabolical access before everybody, but he never really took advantage of it because he was too dedicated to play good champions. So they
Makes sense.
are already trying to lure in the pros.
Yeah, just look at Cypher. Cypher's demo. There was a juked tournament in the early stages, a month or two ago. And
$200,000 before people can play the game.
Yeah, I mean the skill ceiling is already being approached. You could tell by the skill in that game at that time. They're already approaching the curve, and that essentially eliminates, like you said, Ratsy, earlier. It eliminates the ability for somebody to catch up naturally unless they fucking grind for hours and hours and hours and really put a toll on their personal life in order to catch up.
I mean, actually, I've been there. I've done it. I've experienced a lot of this before. I had the pleasure or displeasure of being part of the Overwatch closed beta. Actually, I wasn't part of the beta. My best friend gave me his key. He just wasn't great at FPS or whatever. So I was like, all right. And the game was freaking decided before it came out of closed beta. All the sponsors, everything, so much money. People grinding 12 freaking hours a day, being paid less than $2,000 a month, and that doesn't add up to wage at all.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
And then sponsors jump on that based on closed beta, and now when the game comes out, you could have the smartest, most intelligent prodigy gamer in the world, and he's already 10 light years behind. So I fully agree that
Who's going to catch up in Diabolical in 2 months to people like FaZe? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and that might be the story. That might be the story that comes to define Diabolical. But we are seeing some, limited, like for example, the closed beta was open, and now the closed beta is closed, and now it's more of an map makers closed beta and Quake Pro League closed beta. So kind of still gatekeeping, keeping things in house for the particular players, edging out other players who. We'll just have to see, and it might be too early to judge it in that game. It hasn't even been released yet, but we'll give them the opportunity.
Also, I think Too Good did comment on it on a couple of his live streams about gatekeeping and his reasoning for keeping certain players, and I think it made sense to him at least, but those key players that he's keeping are definitely getting advantage.
So what were the comments on the gatekeeping?
So basically, just loyalty. For his main example, I think he even specified FaZe's example was just his loyalty that he showed, and because he had so much loyalty, he was willing to continue to give him access as a tester to test the game. I mean, he does need testers.
I don't like those words are not good. Loyalty? What? That's not how you
Mostly like
pick
he
people.
was there. He was always there, and he was willing to test and put in the hours to test, and only test if that's what he's doing. But
I think
I
the
still feel
only
like somebody like that had that amount of access should at least be forbeared from that first tournament.
It doesn't take a neurosurgeon to know that these players are showing that loyalty, and they're showing that they want to help because they actually want that edge, they want that advantage, they need that advantage to satisfy their own competitive spirits. So yeah, it's a problem. You should have perhaps a list of people if you are beta testing, rotate them in, limit their time, log their time. And right now, if you can't measure it, then you can't really manage it. And it's so I think we're concluding that it's already kind of an out of control situation.
I have no input other than I just hope like they make some changes that the early testers, aren't aware of, at least, just to at least attempt to even the playing field somewhere.
Well, hey guys, I gotta run. This is it was fun playing with you guys the last couple days. QUAKECoff 2020, the Holy Trinity. It was a blast. Sucks QuakeCon can't happen this year, but let's get ready for Diabolical.
Sounds like
Hell yeah.
Here we go.
That's the plan.
Is Quake Live the game to practice, or should we just wait?
I'd play Quake Live. It's the closest. I mean, the physics are a little bit different, but come on, it's mostly the same.
Yeah, we gotta hone on that railgun.
Yeah, I mean, the railgun's changing. It already has, but make sure you can click on things. Yeah.
Are there any shout outs you guys want to throw out there?
Yep, I just want to thank people for their few people donated, and we made some contributions to Direct Relief. We are also making contributions to fightinequality.org, and there's a lot of people out there that need help with a lot of different things, and we're seeking to give them that help. So that's primarily what this tournament was about, but it's also about QuakeCon. We'll possibly do a QUAKECoff 2021, maybe make a tradition out of this, because this is fun. I know there's a lot of people that they don't want to lose visibility of these old games either, so it keeps the history alive, if you will. But thanks guys for playing.
I want to make a shout out to an old Doom 3 buddy of mine named Vinzo.
Oh yeah, thank you to Vinzo for he was the
Thanks
sole
for
tournament
hanging
admin.
out, sticking around, and also I hope you play Diabolical, because it's a 3 versus 3 based game.
Hell yeah. Hey,
He's
there he
here.
is.
What's up, Benzo?
What up, what up?
Welcome to the stream, the official QuakeCoff 2020, the Holy Trinity. What were your thoughts on the whole tournament from day one to today's finale?
Sorry, give me 1 second. I gotta bump your volume here.
No problem. I know it's really soft. Everyone's been saying that. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's your voice. You have a nice soft voice.
Hey, thank you.
It's all good. Ooh, sultry. Alright,
Oh.
so... Sorry, I missed what he said. What was he saying?
Okay, so welcome to the official QuakeCoff 2020, the Holy Trinity finale stream. What were your thoughts of the tournament from day one to today's finale?
I thought there was a lot of great matches, actually. So I didn't play a lot of Quake 3 or Quake 2. I did a fair amount of Quake 1, but that was well before Quake World. It was still with, like, no strafe jumping.
Good old Netquake.
That's right.
So
Gotta make
you,
your start somewhere.
yeah, apparently you can actually b-hop consistently in Netquake, but you got to do some like weird things like bind a lower speed and then like hold buttons at different times. But you can do it. It's very strange. That's the latest word.
Is Netquake physics more restrictive than Quake Worlds? Because I feel Quake Worlds
Absolutely.
is more lenient. You know, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I would if you're playing single player, definitely play with the Netquake physics because you're just gonna fly around the maps otherwise. The game is that's the original game. Yes, Quake World is a very different just from the movement.
I lost count of the times I've died just standing on a elevator, dude, and playing with the Quake World engine. While playing single player.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
Good old death by elevator.
It's definitely clip it moments right there.
Yeah, I miss things like GameSpy and
Oh my god.
gosh, what was that one that you could get deity as your rank?
Do you remember the whispering of when you launched GameSpy of what it actually said? This is a quiz. Welcome to GameSpy.
Let's get on with the killing.
Yeah, that's the one. Let's get it on with the killing.
That's kind of like my motto.
Yeah, here's his thing.
That's my announcement every time I go live.
I mean, honestly, I'm used to the like later years of GameSpy when it became GameSpy Arcade. I played like a lot of Half-Life when Juan was kind of dying on it, and like the whole like launching game, like the lady saying that was like super nostalgic to me. I don't know, like those services were good. It got people playing like different games. I don't know, like people would talk to each other playing it.
Oh, I got another one. I'm just gonna quiz you guys for a little bit. Which Quake is this from? Kill me now.
Quake 2.
Quake 2's
yeah.
Nice.
Grunts.
Wow, that didn't take Lord Rev very long.
Yeah, that was. I couldn't get the words out of my mouth when I was there. Yeah.
And they make that weird cackle noise.
Oh.
Yeah.
That actually gave me nightmares as a kid. I just seeing the Marines being tortured by the Strogg. It's like, oh wow,
Oh,
that
yeah.
really made me want to kill the Strogg even more when I was younger.
Dude, talking about like scary enemies. Quake 1, I wasn't able to finish the first level because I accidentally jumped into hard mode. Like I was like trying to jump the lava, right? Like who's not gonna want to try that? And then so you just hear them like waiting for you, just grunting, dude. Like who's gonna?
Yeah, the zombies on the walls.
Dude.
I think that confused a lot of people, like the physical selection of difficulty instead of having a menu.
That was like super ahead of its time. Like not even the console games with hubs had that kind of stuff.
Right.
All right, I'm ready for the next quiz.
Okay, I got a good
question.
one. Which game is this from?
Teleporter?
No. It's a Quake from the tournament. I mean,
The door.
Quake 2?
No. Is that Quake 2? Like the lift?
no, Quake 1 lift.
There we go.
Depends on which one. Some of them sound like metal clinking around.
Yeah, some of them have chains and stuff.
Yeah, that
Wait,
like,
was there a lift
ongoing
on any of the maps we played?
Not
I don't
Quake
think so.
World.
DM2
Yeah,
had one.
DM2.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh.
You're right.
I use that lift in
You're
DM2
right.
to try and trick
You're
people to think I'm going up that way, and I'll hop back
But
down.
I thought it was more like it's like a more chuckety. I don't know.
It's like a chain hitting some.
Yeah, like it sounds like it's like a castle.
Well, then again, I noticed Thump, your config for Quake 2, you had a lot of Quake 3 sound effects in there, like the armor and the rocket launcher.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
I
like
didn't even realize that.
Yeah, the armor sound for your Quake 2 config is the Quake 3 sound, because in Quake 2, it's more of just like a couple pads hitting each other.
It's
It's
like-
really muffled. Yeah,
it's like it's like push. It definitely was not very vanilla looking at all. Like, I mean, obviously, like green models are good and stuff, but like or red models in your case. But yeah, it had like some other things that like made me laugh like on the HUD. Like it had like the LG symbol for chain gun. I thought was like really funny.
Yeah, so
That was
you know what I
something.
did? In Reflex, I remember I was playing Reflex at the same time prior to QuakeCon 2017 or 2018, whichever one, there was a Quake 2 tournament, and I was so used to the weapon colors in Reflex that I was trying to replicate those weapon colors, and so that I didn't screw up my Reflex gameplay using Quake 2.
That makes
I think that's what that was.
It's a lot of times where we try to make whatever game you're playing like what you're most comfortable with. Like trying to get all your sensitivities just right so it doesn't mess up your groove you've been in with the other game.
I mean, luckily most of the Quake games have followed the same scheme, but if you get switch to another engine, it's a nightmare waiting to happen. And then it's like, oh, does it have weird acceleration that you gotta disable in the any?
Then there's Quake 4.
I was about to say, dude.
With that mouse smoother that I just can't figure out how to disable.
You can't. It's gonna smooth it over a frame no matter what. Doom 3 does the same damn
A
thing.
little ridiculous, but
A little weird.
I still have love for it.
Quake 4 is like super flashy, but it's like it was like my first time playing it with like internet people, so I'm like, well, like you know, there's.
I actually wanted to ask you what you thought about Quake 4 Thump, because like that was the first one I like even gave a try, like and like know of and played deathmatch in, and I don't know, I keep feeling it's a very sophisticated game, and they like got a lot of things right, but like technical issues kept it back and stuff.
The beginning of Quake 4 was actually, personally, that was one of my favorite times in gaming, because
me too.
I can solidly say that I was #1 on the planet during that GGL tournament. It was a $10,000 Quake. It was the first Quake 4 tournament ever, and it was an invite only with Daler, Socrates. You know, most people call him Socrates. But this was this was prior to joining the Navy, and after after the whole CPL World Tour. So it was similar to like right now in esports, where you had one game kind of dying. So Quake 3 and Painkiller and Doom 3 all together were dying, and then you had like 3 different communities merging into Quake 4. So it was like everybody's together, you know, the CPMA players, the Doom 3 players, you know, Fatality on the sidelines after just winning the MTV tournament in New York City. And I just went all in. Like I freaking I literally failed out of high school.
Nice.
Because I was the one student in my high school that didn't graduate.
Dedication.
I had to do college to do summer school to actually finish high school, and I almost failed that because they had attendance issues. So there was a time in Quake 4 when the LG had infinite range. There was a time when the Kraut slide, it was like almost unlimited range, but it was inefficient at one point. I think I was one of the first players, if not the first player, to discover that use and actually implement it into duels. And I got light years ahead in Quake 4 right off the bat. Went to Fatality's house, and we had like a boot camp prior to CPL. And then I show up to the tournament, the CPL Winter 2005 or 2004 or 2005. And there was basically just so many players, like all the pros that you see now, everybody was in that tournament. And that tournament humbled me. As good as I thought I was, I showed up to that tournament, and I got beat by Cooler's practice partner, Jibo, in a best of 3 on Frantic. And it definitely, I remember playing poker with Fatality, Cooler, and just talking about it. And I was pissed. I was like, you know, you can be good online, but when it comes to the tournament environment and having that that experience of being able to run and flip the switch of defense and offense,
Or
that's when
just
I got humbled right there.
I think a lot of people also like don't know how to shoot people with zero ping. They literally like, especially if they were like HPVs and like they had like 100 ping and plus online, and they're now switching to LAN environment. They just like can't adjust in time sometimes. And I feel like people just like they know how the game is different on LAN, like walk all over you, they're just like moving everywhere. Just godlike LG and such. I feel like a lot of people had problems.
Yeah, it was fun, and the I remember I was in Fatality's basement in Kansas City, and he was like tiptoeing into Quake 4. Like we would just do a couple FFAs and mess around. I had a couple of GGL matches while I was there. I was settled on becoming the best gamer in the world at that time. I was like, I'm going to be number one. But that CPL performance that I had was kind of the determining factor, where I was like, I went all in, I tried my ass off, and I didn't get the result I wanted. I have to make a move in my life and correct my trajectory. So I went the military route, but I still wanted to continue like being affiliated with esports. So I managed a team called 50 Caliber Gaming, and through that was able to just kind of have fun a little bit, but also help players out. Help players like Raceland, Chance, players like The Hang. He was, also on the fence. He had, low confidence in his ability to. He was afraid to attend any LANs. So just talking to The Hang over the phone and saying, "Look, it's just a LAN. They're not pros. You don't need to be afraid of them. And let's send you to your first LANs." So he didn't get the result that he wanted either. But unlike me, I think I was vicariously living through him, because I didn't make the life choice that I wanted to become an esports pro that I know I could have been. But here I saw a kid who probably had a lot more potential than me, and he was young enough to make that transition and just dominate. So it does take help, and he didn't get there on his own. It took many teams, e.g. that then sponsored him after we sent him to his first LANs, and players have to climb that ladder, if you will, in order to get to that next step. And now getting pretty old, I definitely can't go pro, but I definitely want to help players get to that next step. And that's what I think this tournament was about.
So I have a question in general for like all
One
of you
second.
guys. So like, how did you guys get exposed to competitive arena FPS?
That's a funny one on my end.
Me too.
Like, let's hear it in this order from Kev, Lord Revan, Rassi, Thump, and if Denzo wants to join in. Alright.
I guess I'll start off. I was always a spectator since probably 1996, 1997, watching the best of the best compete in 4 versus 4 team deathmatch in Quake 1. And I never played, I just watched, because we only had one computer, and it was hogged by my brother, Jeff Thump4, and my other brother, D2. So I'd never really had a turn. But I was always interested in the community. I mean, I also wasn't interested because I was more focused on actual sports like baseball, and that was like basically my life was baseball at the time.
You collected baseball cards and had the best baseball card collection known to mankind.
And eventually, though, I caved and I started playing. And that was only because I was bored out of my mind one day. I think I was 19 years old in 2004. I picked up Doom 3. And I fell in love with the game. I liked the aspect of dark corners that you could actually hide from your opponent, unlike Quake, where it was full brights. And I was drawn to that atmosphere, more like almost like a Doom 2 or a Quake 2 type of a game. And I fell in love. And ever since then, I've been a competitor. On the side, basically competing in any tournament I could compete in. I picked up Quake Live for a few months to try to compete at QuakeCon, and I ended up playing in an amateur event back in, gosh, I can't even remember, maybe 2006 or 7, and I was able to top 16 my first LAN tournament. And I was really proud of myself, and I was like, wow, I'm actually not too bad. So I continued to play, and Quake Champions came along, and we stuck with it and did very well off the bat. We won the first QuakeCon tournament, the 4 versus 4 sacrifice, and that was really cool. Winning money is the greatest feeling ever in something that you love to do.
Yeah, that's actually like I like getting prizes. I think the first time I won an event of any kind, like for gaming, I was like 11 or 12, 13, some bizarrely like young age, and there was an event at Comic-Con that happened to have like Alienware. There was like Alienware had a booth there or whatever, and they were playing Quake. They were playing Quake 4 sometime, like other games. Some years, but this year they happened to play Unreal Tournament 3 in beta before anyone had touched the damn. And I played it, and the prize at that hour, because they just had different prizes running tournaments every hour, happened to be like $1,000 processor. It was a Core 2 Quad Extreme, like 2.66. Get your hertz processor. Just crazy amount of money, for a little kid to have. I didn't even end up building a PC around it for like probably a year and a half, but it was great. Love that. I was shaking. I was like I immediately went home. I couldn't enjoy my day at Comic-Con. I was like, I have to go home. I gotta keep this. It was great.
That's great.
Yeah. So, when it comes to like what got me into the competitive scene, I guess you could say, when Quake Champions was announced, it was a pretty big gap in between, anyone I knew playing Quake until seeing that video for E3. Quake Champions is coming out, like it was a new Quake game, so I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna play this. I signed up for the closed beta, and I had access since the first beta burst wave, I guess they called it. And I performed, pretty decently for like the free-for-alls and all that. I never really messed with Duel at all until after Champions. But I signed up for the Quake World Championship tryouts. I got a little ahead of myself there. I was pretty confident that I would at least make it into the tournament to get my name out there. But to my surprise, I was not very good of a player. I fell out of the tryouts first round, and I had like 3 or 4 of my buddies over at my house watching me, like cheering me on, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm losing. They're like, what's going on? I thought you were good at this, because they didn't play, they didn't understand arena shooters. A lot of my friends growing up were just Call of Duty, whatever was popular at the time. So yeah, that happened, and it made me really want to like try and get better and try to really practice and learn how to duel and understand map layout, item times, weapon placement and stuff. And it wasn't until, what was it, 2017, Rassi? Was that the Quake Holio where we met?
That was 2018, dude.
2018?
Yeah, 2017 was the year before.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right, because last year was 19. So 2018 QuakeCon, I actually went to 2017, was my first QuakeCon. Didn't have a PC. I didn't compete in anything. I was just there for the fun. And the next year, 2018, I came and brought my PC. And there's this side tournament going on called the QuakeHolio. It looked like a joke, right? It had like Cornholio from Beavis and Butthead on there or whatever, and they were like having a tournament with a lot of different games. Like they had Wolfenstein 3D, Doom 2016, Quake World, Quake 2, Quake Live, and all in like the same tournament. They just rotate through the games. They even had Commander Keen, I think, at one point, just like to high score battle, basically. That's actually, I mentioned, that's where I met Rassi. He was there, and he was like showing me how to do some config stuff, and we were talking about Quake World. I actually ended up getting first place in that tournament, and the last match was Quake World, and I won $3,000. And to be honest, I didn't think I deserved it, because I was very amateur still at the time. I just had a lot of passion, and winning that money made me feel like I had to show up for it. And from then till now, I've competed in just about every tournament that I saw and got interested in. Like, I've played the past couple seasons of Thunderdome. There is another European tournament for Quake World called Hammer Time that I've actually competed in the past couple seasons and did quite well for my own division there. I got third place this year, I think, for the advanced rookies, and then last year was fourth, I think. Yeah.
Oh, no wonder you put Kev in his place on DM4.
Yeah, the Europeans really like to put those DM maps in there too, and a couple of my rounds, I would always try to avoid the DM maps just because I'm just not super good on them. But if you figure out the spawns and the tricks and all that good stuff, you can really just steamroll someone on DM4.
There's no coming back at a certain point, really, I feel like.
Yeah, the turnover is next to impossible on like DM2, 4, and 6. All three of those are extremely oppressive maps. But yeah, like I said, winning that money just made me feel like I gotta really show up for this. I didn't expect to win anything, and I didn't think that I deserved it. But it was a lot of fun, and that's why I signed up for this one. Aside from Rassi kind of convincing me, like, "Hey, let's do this, man." I was like, all right. I was a little hesitant at first because I'm not a very good Quake Live player, and nor do I really enjoy the game in general, but I'm trying to, and because I really liked Diabolical playing in the closed beta. I want to be a part of that when it comes out. Yeah, and here I am here. I got fourth place in this tournament. Pretty cool. Win some money out of it. It is, like Kev said, it's a very good feeling when you win money, something you need to live in this world, doing something you love, like playing a video game.
Yeah, I was happy to see you sign up, dude, and I know, I remember you played in both tournaments in QuakeCon 2019, right?
Yeah, I played in the BYOC tournament for Quake 2 and Quake World.
Yeah, he was third place in Quake 2.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. I made it all the way to the semifinals, and I can't remember who I got faced up against at that point, but they steamrolled
probably Deadbeat
me.
Or Machiavelli, a previous QuakeCon champion. Machiavelli has a very important role in the progression of esports. He played with Dennis Thresh Fong over and over and over in California. They were a bunch of California friends. Immortal, Thresh, Machiavelli, Rix was involved in that scene. Rix and Machiavelli both signed up for that Quake 2 tournament. So these are the best players in the world for a few years in a row. So yeah, and
outplaced a QuakeCon champion.
Two QuakeCon champions. Yeah.
Pretty crazy. Well, it's the weird thing was like a lot of the players were like either my level or lower, so it was like just a mixture of like really new players, pro players and then like averagely moderate players.
You get handed a bracket, and depending on that bracket,
I think I 6-0'd every person I played up until the semifinals, and then I got 6-0'd, and I was like, okay, like that was something. But
was it Deadbeat or?
No, I was about to say, you mentioned Deadbeat. He was the one that actually put me out of Quake World because I played him on DM4, I think, and he steamrolled me there.
Huh.
I wasn't expecting to play DM maps until they had the meeting too. Because when I got brought into Quake World, I was playing maps like ZTN DM3, Bravado, stuff like that, like the Aerowalk, of course. Like the more modern maps that were implemented into the game after they were a thing in other games. So I just I didn't expect that. And to play DM maps at that tournament, I was like, oh man, like I instantly didn't really have as much confidence, and Deadbeat put me in place there.
Hey, at least you didn't have to play Entryway, right? That's the worst tool map.
That was last year, Doom 2. Yeah, that's
what a match.
Oh man.
Well,
Grassy
Cannibal, to
Go
answer
ahead.
your question, yeah, I grew up with Kev and D2. If you guys know, there's a player named, what was his name? ZT Monkey. ZT Monkey, real life name Jin Liu. He was a freaking amazing player. He was like better than all of us right now combined back then. Like back in '96, he was literally above everybody. He was like a Thresh. He did not have the computer. He had to play on a command called DMIPCAP3, which was like the early PICMIP command. Just completely crappy hardware, and he was still shutting people out. He would be the quad guy and just wreck DM3 4v4 TDM.
Yeah, he was probably the most advanced player I've ever seen in my life. For just how rapid he picked up the game, and didn't continue beyond Quake 1, which was like, wow, he's the best. And he didn't play.
He ended up going to UC Berkeley for electrical engineering and computer science, and became a top Chevron data scientist. And I think he's been at Chevron for 15, 20 years now. But he's the one that brought his computer over for a sleepover party. And all my brothers were mesmerized by this game. We're like, what's a Quake? He was like, you want to play Quake? We're like,
that's the best voice.
we were like, what the hell's that, Jin? And he showed us, and I have never been so mesmerized by a game. It was like multiplayer. My brothers and I were hooked. I was especially hooked with D2, and we just got into like Quake World Clan Arena. We would do LG battles.
To put this guy's mind into perspective, he was coding video games in 6th and 7th grade.
Yeah, he was on the clan Legion of was it Legion of Doom or Lord of can't remember. LOD. It's one of the earlier Quake clans. I think Wombat and Ginsburg were in it as well. So that's when I started out. I always feel like there was something, maybe metaphysical, maybe spiritual, that was limiting always my ability to just take games seriously. Because every time I tried, something crazy happened. And I remember I was a little kid. I asked for a computer for my birthday. I had to give my entire life savings. I sold my bike, mowed like a bunch of lawns, tried to mow neighbors' lawns to afford this first Windows computer. Finally got the computer with my own money and some birthday money. And
okay.
Quake 3 then came out, and there was a QuakeCon, first QuakeCon that featured Quake 3. Before Fatality, before 04, and I was training every day, railing on the space map, the longest yard. I was gonna wreck house, and then literally I begged my parents to help me with a plane ticket. Finally, my dad stepped in, helps me with a plane ticket. It's gonna be my first land, and I was gonna crush everybody. And then my brother stopped at a pool party, and he told us to all bring our bathing suits. We were going to just jump in the pool really quick and then drive to the airport so I could go to QuakeCon. We jump in the hot tub, shock this party to little kids, the parents, nobody's parents are home, and there's this bottle of brandy being passed around the hot tub. And I had never gotten drunk before. I had no idea what brandy was. And I just started sipping on this bottle every time it came back to me in this hot tub.
First time with brandy, that's classy.
I was 15 years old.
Oh no.
I get up out of the hot tub and go into the kitchen, and there's all these like girls and trying to be cool with the girls. I literally stood up and blacked out, fell backwards and slammed my head into a corner.
Oh man.
And dude, I was literally so probably alcohol poisoned that I was unconscious for the next 12 to 18 hours. My brothers tried to still bring me to the airport to board the flight. I was so drunk that I couldn't wake up. They didn't want to bring me to the hospital because they didn't want to get in trouble. So yeah, I think my brother brought me to my grandparents' house to hide me so he didn't get in trouble for getting me wasted.
Oh man.
But I missed QuakeCon. I think I can't remember who won. Maybe Machiavelli won, or 04 or Dale, one of those. But yeah, it's been a lot of things like that have happened that I always felt like, maybe pro gaming is not my path, but it's definitely fun to do it kind of like an amateur or a semi-pro status while you pursue more of a guarantee with a job or school or whatever. So I think that's my story, how I learned Quake and realized it's not the end of the world if like the pro scene doesn't pan out, because you can always play with your friends and just have a blast. And keeping it fun, I can guarantee you, pros don't really keep it fun. Like
no,
yeah, something a lot of people don't understand.
You don't have fun at all. You don't have fun at all.
You're playing a game, but you are working on yourself, and you're working on things that you're not good at, and you're studying and reflecting and like building, and it's a lot more than just doing a game on your free time or something. It's a lot of work, a lot of self work.
Well, I mean, one of the other things is like that I've noticed, unfortunately, is games have shifted, and my friends have been into other games, and unfortunately, the only way that I've found to find people that are into the light games is just by going further. It's like you in order to pick up like relationships and to, like make these friendships and stuff and have a good time with the boys, you almost gotta like just like play the game because no one else plays it. Like no one plays Quake for fun anymore. And that's really unfortunate. Maybe back in the day, yeah, sure, but like at no time when I picked it up when I was trying to was anyone playing it for fun. It was always 20XX. That's a term that I think is actually kind of brilliant that the Smash Brothers community has invented. That in the year 20XX, the game is just broken. Everyone knows every exploit. The game is determined by arbitrary things like the GameCube has like more lag on one of the controller ports, right? And that's just that determines games because everyone's so skilled. And it's kind of what Quake can feel like to someone who is just a complete outsider that's like, oh my god, everyone's so skilled, they're flying around them. Oh, what the fuck is going on?
So
and
true.
just, yeah.
And it
No one
might
can
not even be a
understand
human. It might not even be a human that you're playing against now. And
Oh, yeah.
you're going to see what I saw in Diablo 2. The Diablo 2 scene got wrecked by these bots that are just like 9 players to every 1 human player are bots. And it's pervasive. It's going to continue to plague, that technology to have its own player out of it. To have, if any human player just uses a little bit of that code, and it has happened with like implementing AI into your mouse drivers and being able to hide this in a tournament in like a legit ESL environment. And players can get away with that. So, in my opinion, I think there needs to be a league that can shut down all of that botting, shut down all the driver hacks, actually have administrators that aren't afraid to go into the files and check shit out. Because every tournament, every QuakeCon, nobody has checked through the actual files from my memory.
Oh, it's really loose at QuakeCon. It's like ridiculous. QuakeCon in my opinion. And,
last year, it was kind of questionable. Like a lot of the people that were in charge of certain things.
Yeah, I mean, not even BOIC. I'm talking about the ESL tournament was loose, dude. Like in 2018. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
I made it to regionals with a clan called Top Gun, and we each got our own little box of a PC to carry around. So you just kind of like, you had your own PC and you would bring this PC to every little station.
That's cool.
That's cool.
But nobody monitored the files. Nobody checked. Right. There was way too much trust in the players. And I'm not saying you can't have some, like there is a line that you can draw in the sand, but you have to go in and have an unbiased system and check this shit out. Also the drugs.
What drugs what drugs are people concerned about currently? Like I'm out of curiosity. Okay, so like that I knew that was big
stuff
in StarCraft.
Just like stimulants, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
Because in high school, I knew a lot of people that would do that to help them with their tests and homework, and I never got into it, but it was a little weird. Like they would just get really messed up on like this poor man's crack to just speed their brain up. It's like whoa.
Right, and if you look into some of the wars that have happened, I think World War II is the best example. They gave German and U.S. a lot of the story of aviation and the first aerial battles were decided based on which pilot had more stimulants in their body. But it wasn't just uppers that they were on. It was a combination of uppers and downers at the same time to put your brain in a sine wave psychosis of that could give you like days worth of stamina. And these drugs are not tournament friendly. I've seen some use of drugs at a tournament where I think it should be, going forward, it should be tackled in its entirety. And maybe, I don't know what you guys think about cannabis and marijuana, but that may or may not give an advantage as well.
I think that
it's debatable.
It's a super tough subject for a lot of people. I mean, for like one aspect, it helps people. Like some people just have like neurological issues that they can't get past without CBD or something. I think the deciding factor is probably ban THC, but because CBD,
CBD is a little different because it's not necessarily mind altering.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Then you just have like basically people on muscle relaxants. I don't know.
I was gonna say it could be. Sorry, go ahead.
Doesn't CBD calm your nerves as well?
Right, which is I was gonna make a comparison. You could compare it to like muscle relaxers in a way, though opiates themselves would have a little bit more of an effect on your brain. So I think that's why that would be more impacted on someone's performance. But
Yeah, but-
CBD is a lot more underlying, like just like the way tea relaxes you in the comparison
Yeah.
of like coffee being, stronger and caffeine and stuff. But because I mean, caffeine could be up there too if you want to really get technical.
Well, people take serious amounts of caffeine. Like, there's also
Yeah.
like other things like taurine and all that. Like I don't know how that actually affects people at all, but makes me feel like shit.
Do you think that it should continue to be, because you can't scrutinize everything, and like you said, if you want to get technical, ban coffee as well, everything. So I see it's either one or the other. It's either you have to allow everything or allow almost nothing.
Right.
Yep.
And I guess at that point you should just like if you're asking what should be allowed, my personal opinion would just at this point stick to stuff that's technically legal, like coffee or cigarettes, vape, stuff that, or CBD, that doesn't alter your mind in a way to make you some kind of crazy superhuman that's their brains moving at 1,000 miles an hour. Comparison to what you were describing, like a weird mixture of uppers and downers to just put you in this like godlike state where your stamina is just unbeatable.
Yeah, Cypher.
Yeah.
I'll just say it. I'll just say it right now.
Before we go on a deep tangent, I'd like to hear Vinzo's origin story.
Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Sorry,
please.
man. We
he
left him out.
is
I want to hear
probably the
that.
best Doom 3 player in the
That's
world.
awesome too, man. Doom 3.
And nobody knows that.
I'm really not.
I would
I
say
mean-
that you are comparable to one of the best in the world in Doom 3. If anybody were to play you right now, you would not lose.
Good players are always humble too, so that's how you know he's good. He's saying he's not.
I'm the worst. He's the best.
So I got my start playing Quake when I was like 7 with my dad, who did not let me win ever.
Oh, that sucked.
Best motivator right there.
That was a pretty good motivator. It made me very competitive.
I bet.
So, flash forward, the next game I played was probably Doom 3, where I played. I played with a lot of people, and I thought I was hot shit, but I was very wrong. Because as it turns out, I encountered a player named Pomlix, who actually happened to me by boss at work.
What?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wait,
that was.
Omlix was your boss?
He was.
That's
Yeah.
that's something.
That's
man.
fuck. That's up.
I was not expecting that at all.
Talk
and
about
he's
a
like-
mental thing. Like that would freak me out.
Yeah, we were just chatting. And yeah, he was just like, "Oh, I play Doom," and I was like, "Oh, I play Doom too. That's awesome." And he was like, "I'm not bad," and I was like, "I think I could beat you," and then he just scrubbed me like 16 games in a row, and I was just like, "Oh, I guess I'm not that good." He's like, "Well, I'll train you up." So he spent many weekends like boot camping me to where the time limits were like 1 minute long just to teach me spawns and how do you react off the spawn and what are your priorities and where are you and map knowledge, and it was just years and years and years of that. And then I encountered Thump, who then put me in my place yet again. And then after he retired, I was like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm the best rating," and then Kevin joined in, and that my dream was over.
The passion was there, though.
Yeah, the passion was there. So, I mean, I've never been... I compete when there's a tournament, but I'm not super... what's the word I'm looking for? Determined to go pro. But, I mean, if Diabolical becomes a thing, I figure I'm actually better than I probably think I am, because I always think everyone's better than me. And then, if Diabolical became a thing, I'd probably go compete in that.
I wish you would. It's 3 versus. They're going to do a lot of 3 versus 3. And if you
Do
were
3 on 3, yeah.
Level, I'd love to have you.
I'm pretty much right there with you, Vinzo, with your outlook on competitiveness. Like, I don't think I could ever push myself to really, really get involved, but I really want to continue to play and be a part of everything, as the whole experience.
I was too young at the time to really do it properly. I didn't have the proper mindset going into competitions. I always thought it was a matter of, wow, if I have the better stack, I'm going to win. The strategy wasn't as strong. But I think what kind of solidified it for me is when there was it was either the 50 cal tournament or the one after, where I played Clamp. And I picked the maps that I was like, I'm definitely going to win, and I lost both of them. But then both of his maps I won, and I was like, I don't know what's going on here. This is very confusing. So it really proved to me that if I needed to, I could contend, even when I thought I was going to definitely drop a map. And that, never really happened.
Yeah, tournament play is just like, you have to play to win. At all costs, you have to make decisions that you wouldn't normally make, like run. A lot of people do that in Quake 5, just run.
I used to get really discouraged playing really, really good players, because if the frag gap got too big, I would just get disheartened and be like, fuck it. I can't win
Same
this.
here. Yeah, I actually dropped out of a couple matches in Thunderdome this last season because of that same exact thing. Like, I had a great match where I won. It was a fair round. My next match, the guy had like 20 frags on me, and I had 0, and I killed myself on accident, went negative, and I just said, okay, good game. You win. There's no point in continuing. It's a waste of energy, but you got to keep the good attitude at the same time. Don't let it eat you alive, because it will.
A lot of the mental states are very different in a dual game than a team game, because that's actually like where I come from. Team game, and there's a lot more breaks, man. Like, you see like a duel is like, oh, it's 10 minutes, short game. No, it's like 10 of the hardest, longest minutes of your life, and it's intense, and you got to be there for all of it. Whereas like, you respawn, like, fortress, you got to respawn on a fortress. You're like, all right, like, you call out, say what's going on, and chill, try to help your teammates out, and then you have a new spawn, and you have a new outlook, and it's not like the whole game is gone because you died, but the whole game could be gone because you died, and it's all you. It's a lot of pressure on yourself versus leverage pressure on other players. Like, oh yeah, we could have maybe positioned a little better as a team, or whatever. It's like it's very different.
I have been playing a lot of Path of Exile, so not a lot of FPS, but I hopped on Doom 3 the other day. I actually hopped on earlier, and I lost.
See what I mean, Kev? He's getting ahead. He's not telling anybody.
It's plotting.
And I was like, oh, well, I'll probably win the next one. I wasn't too concerned, but I was playing with 150 ping against someone who had 0. So
wow.
Yep.
I was like, this is kind of rough. But it is what it is.
Yeah, sometimes we have to cross the ocean to find a game.
Well,
Is there a
hey,
game to be found at that point?
I'm getting summoned here. I just want to thank you guys for playing in what a lot of people thought was a stupid tournament. But look, we had fun. I don't give a shit.
It turned out
we gave
great,
money
man.
away
That was
to good
great.
causes. And we'll have it next year, possibly. And
Looking
keep it
forward
going.
to it.
Hey, we'll keep in touch, keep playing, and if you guys ever want a 1v1 or do a team game, let me know.
Definitely
My
will.
wife is telling you it was not a stupid tournament, and she enjoyed watching it very much.
That's so cool, man. Thanks for the support.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Like I was like not expecting to like get anywhere in the bracket anyway, but like I still showed up. It was like super fun. It's like I got to feel the tension, like even between Rassi and Lord Revan, who like we play casually, but like the tension was there this time. So that's really different. Like it opens up like your eyes. Like this is what people live for sometimes.
I admit I was pretty drawn in watching Kev versus Rasty. Because I was screaming at the TV, I was like, "Make us up! What are you doing?"
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing against him. I got lucky.
Yeah,
But like,
good games, man. Very well played.
Yeah, GG's. I'll definitely join again, like every time. Just let me know.
Hell yeah, man. Well, maybe we'll have the QUAKECoff 2020 QUAKECoff 2021 at QuakeCon 21. Maybe that's gonna be how it goes down. Because LAN is the best.
Absolutely.
Get people playing LAN. No one's playing LAN at QuakeCon. Damn internet games. Ugh.
Yeah, I'll bring the drug test too. Like,
get your kid out there and everything.
Okay, I gotta run. We'll see you guys. Thanks
All
for
right,
playing.
thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
See you guys later too.
All
See
right.
you later, man.
See ya.
See you guys next time then. All right, everybody on the stream. Thanks for watching. This has been an eventful evening. The interviews were really interesting, and we definitely learned a lot from the participants, top 4 especially. And then we had a surprise guest, Vinzo, dropping in.
Yeah, thanks for hopping in chat. Had some interesting background there.
No worries.
I'm definitely gonna ask you about some Doom 3 stuff if you don't mind.
Ask me whatever you want.
Oh, I just mean I'm gonna message you in a little bit. I kind of have a thing for Doom 3. I'd really like to get in on that.
Yep.
Cool, man.
Have a good one.
Later.
All right. Later. All right. Let's see. So, that just concludes everything. I hope everybody enjoyed the tournament. Everybody who participated, everybody who stuck around. Waiting for us to set up our matches and everything. I hope next time there's a better turnout. Even if there's a potential plans for doing it at QuakeCon, but if it does happen to be online again, you guys saw it's pretty, it's well produced. Everybody just has to have their game set up and everything, of course. But I hope I'll be able to meet these guys at QuakeCon next year if it does happen. But this is where the stream's gonna end. Thanks for participating. Thanks, Thump, for the host, and I'll see you guys next time. And we're signing
Later,
off.
everybody. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, for sure. All right, goodbye, everybody.